As the Dodgers welcome the month of May, Walker Buehler's return to the big league mound is imminent. Plus, there are some updates on Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, a little bit of Clayton Kershaw, Ryan Brasier, everybody on the injured list, save for Jason Hayward, who, I'll spoil it now, is going to be out for a good chunk of time. We got a whole bunch of updates, so here's your injury updates to welcome the new month of May. I don't know why it's new, but it's the month of May, and this is the All Dodgers podcast. First, my name is Clint Pasillas. Find me as Real FRG on the social media places. I'm a longtime baseball writer and sports editor. I host my show here, this show, All Dodgers, on my All Dodgers YouTube channel. I co-host a Dodgers show called Dodgers Territory with Alana Rizzo on the Foul Territory Network. Check that out every Monday and Thursday. But I'm always going to be here talking Dodgers with you because that is what I do, apparently. So consider giving this video, if you're watching it, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, it really helps things out. It's completely free. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, hit that follow button or consider leaving a rating and review for the show there. But let's talk a little bit about Walker effing Buehler. So Walker Buehler makes his sixth and potentially, most likely, should be definitely final rehab start with AAA. Well, it's his fifth rehab start with AAA Oklahoma City. He made 6 starts overall, but anyways, should be his final one. Allows 1 run over 5 innings on 7 hits, strikes out 5, walks none, potentially finishes his rehab assignment with a 3.74 ERA over those starts. Good, not great, not sexy, but this is AAA for the most part. He's pitching in the PCL. It's a hitter's league. He doesn't necessarily care about the results. He cares about coming out of these outings healthy, and that is exactly what he did. So if all goes well, if the Dodgers say, if Dave Roberts hears, hey, Walker feels good after this rehab start that he had on Tuesday, he should be returning to the big league mound next week at Dodger Stadium when the Dodgers welcome the Miami Marlins to Dodger Stadium. And it's worth noting, Walker made his first big league start against the Marlins all the way back in 2018. Also, much less worth noting, but I'm going to note it anyways. I was at that game, so do with that whatever you want with that information. But my thoughts on this, I guess, I don't know, I'll impart my feelings on it, and I would implore people looking for the Walker Buehler of old, just be open, be ready for a different looking Walker Buehler than you're used to. This might not be butane. You're probably not going to see the 98-99 on the fastball much anymore, if ever again. There's just that outside chance. He can still be a very good pitcher. We've seen him be a thrower in the past. We've seen him become a pitcher. He can still be a very quality, maybe even still ace level big league pitcher with slightly reduced stuff. So when he does return, we're looking at maybe, about 23 months removed since his last start at the big league level. Even that game, that whole year in 2022, he was kind of hurt. He was struggling a little bit with the injury bug. Just give Walker a little bit of benefit of the doubt and keep an open mind with the future, the potentially different look of Walker Buehler. Before I get into more injury updates, Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, we got Ryan Brasier updates and all that kind of stuff. I gotta let you know. It's important that I let you know that Bet Online is your number one source for all of your summer sports this season, from MLB to golf to NBA, NHL playoffs. We know the Dodgers are going to be around. The Lakers aren't going to be around, unfortunately, but you got playoff stats there. You got all the stats, news, scores available to follow your favorite teams all season long. So get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, your player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. That is Bet Online, where game time starts. With a little bit of housekeeping out of the way, let's talk Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin, because we also received some news on both of those injured starters. D-May, Tony Gonsolin, both of them, of course, recovering from elbow surgeries. For D-May, it was a little bit different. He had the forearm and the elbow. Did undergo a kind of Tommy John revision. I believe he had the internal brace on the elbow. For Tony Gonsolin, full Tommy John reconstruction surgery. But for May, let's talk May for a second. The right-hander is scheduled to start throwing off of a mound, start throwing bullpen sessions more so sometime in the next week to 10 days is the report out of Dodger camp, really out of Chase Field, where the Dodgers are playing the Diamondbacks as I record this. From there, he's going to get off the mound. It's every 5 days he'll stay on that schedule. So you're going to do that for a few weeks before you graduate to facing hitters. Then he's still got to graduate. Honestly, before even facing hitters, he's kind of got to get back to throwing breaking balls off the mound. Of course, we know D-May has at times a devastating slider, which does put some torque, does put some unhappy feelings on that elbow, on that reconstructed, now twice reconstructed elbow. So you got to throw breaking pitches, you got to face live hitters, and then you got to go out on a rehab assignment, and that's going to be 4, 5, 6 outings at the minimum, realistically at the minimum. So ballpark guesstimation, 13 weeks on the super early side, where we might start to hear about D-May, Dustin May, Code Red, possibly making a return to the Dodgers, meaning mid to late August is kind of an early end. That's that's part of the time frame too that Dustin said in spring training he was looking at late August, maybe into September. So you hope by that point of the season he's a nice to have, not a need to have, in terms of the Dodgers pitching staff being healthy. Of course, right now with so many injuries already this early in the season, you kind of keep your fingers crossed that things hold together enough to make it that far where you don't need him. He is nice to have, but Dustin May could be a pretty big weapon later on in the season. If you are looking at August, you are looking into September, and maybe let's just say all things work out nice, they don't need a starter at that point, he could pitch in relief. He could be a long man. He could be a weapon out of the bullpen for this team in October. But baby steps, let's get him throwing bullpen sessions first, and that should be coming within the next 2 weeks. As for Tony Gonsolin, as I've been expecting, the Dodgers pretty much officially confirm. We'll say unofficially confirm because you can't pretty much officially. So pretty much unofficially confirm that he will not return in 2024. No setback, no nothing like that. He just had his Tommy John very late in the 2023 season. So 2024 was going to be a long shot right off the bat. Good news, not great news, not bad news, positive news for both of those guys. Essentially, they are progressing, no setbacks. And now for some quickie rapid fire updates, and I don't do quickie and rapid fire very well whenever I do these type of videos and updates and all that kind of things because your boy likes to talk. But let's talk Bobby Miller for a second. Already out longer than anticipated, out longer than initially expected as he deals with inflammation in that right throwing shoulder. He's currently throwing a baseball but not off of a mound. He was originally eligible to come off the IL last week when the Dodgers were on the road in Toronto at that time. But the longer he's down, the longer it's going to take for him to build up a pitch count and get back up to a starter's workload. So maybe late May is a hopeful kind of outlook. But as of now, zero timetable on Bobby Miller. Next, the latest added to the injured list, the pile of Dodgers on the injured list, that is right-handed reliever Ryan Brasier, who suffered a calf strain while running pregame before the game on Wednesday. Well, pregame is before the game, but anyways, running before the game in the outfield, doing his warm-ups and his workouts in Monday in Arizona. The MRIs did confirm it as a calf strain. As of now, it sounds like it wasn't a very good feeling in that right calf. That is his push-off calf. So you generate as a pitcher. Obviously, I am a world-renowned pitching superstar athlete, so you could trust me on this, but you generate a lot of your power and your torque from that lower body and that push off on the right or off of the right leg. So if that's injured, it's going to take a decent amount of time. I think the quote was he felt heard a decent pop in that calf. So when you hear a pop, the prognosis, the outlook, the timeline is never really good. Officially, again, out right now, officially calling it a right calf strain. Figures to miss most, if not all, of the month of May, maybe more, but zero timeline as well for Brasier. As we try to trend into quickly getting through the updates here, Blake Treinen is progressing. Hey, we got a positive one here. He's progressing towards a return. He's scheduled to pitch in back-to-back games starting today, Wednesday. So he'll go Wednesday, he'll go Thursday. If he comes out of that back-to-back, fine. He should be activated when the Dodgers are home. Maybe as soon as this weekend against the Atlanta Braves, who are coming to Dodger Stadium Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He could be another guy, though, or he could be a guy that's joining Walker Buehler off of the IL against the Marlins next week, Monday, Tuesday, whatever it may be. But it's good to know, hey, this is a guy. We have one guy coming back, and it's good to have some sort of positive health update because if we're looking at a couple more of these guys, Brusdar Graterol, Kyle Hurt, Emmett Sheehan, all of them kind of really in the same boat with Graterol and Hurt. They're both hurt with shoulder issues, technically, or more specifically, shoulder inflammation. They're probably out until I'm guesstimating. I'll throw some more ballpark guesstimations out there. You're looking at All-Star break, just kind of reading the tea leaves, hearing what Dave Roberts is saying, and the information the team has passed along to us. All-Star break, that might be just a perfectly middling timeline. It's not out of the realm of possibility to see them back sooner, but All-Star break is a good tentpole timeline, I guess we'll say. Sheehan, probably a bit more behind him with his, I'm going to call it, barking right forearm, as he kind of maybe ramped up his throwing progression a little too early in spring training. But he's somebody that's probably more trade deadline, so post All-Star break. And I said it recently on the channel, feels a whole hell of a lot like this year's Ryan Pepio, where things just kept happening. Our pets' heads are falling off, and I keep dropping that reference too much in these videos of late. But things keep happening, pushing that timeline back. But at some point in time, you really... I don't even know if you could promise with Emmett Sheehan, because you do worry when you're hearing about things in that forearm area, when you're hearing things in that elbow area, especially with the malady of injuries that we have seen in baseball early this 2024 season. But we will maintain positivity and say that you feel pretty good, knock on desk, you feel pretty good about him returning sometime just post All-Star break. Finally, Clayton Kershaw. You can't talk about pitching injuries without talking about Clayton Kershaw. He is expecting, we talked about this a little bit already, he's expecting to get off of a bullpen mound or expecting to get off of a mound for bullpen sessions sometime in May. There hasn't been any sort of murmurs of a setback or anything like that. Things seem to be progressing well. Recently on Dodgers territory, Alana Rizzo and I did speak with Andy McCullough, who wrote a book about Clayton Kershaw. He has Clayton Kershaw on his phone, kind of talks to Clayton Kershaw here and there, and reports even coming from McCullough are thumbs up for Clayton Kershaw. So still, even once he gets off a mound, you're looking at 13, 15 weeks, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know. I ain't no big city doctor, but the original timeline of late July, really more like August, seems about appropriate for Clayton Kershaw. So the final thoughts on all of this: through all of these injuries, the Dodgers have survived and mostly thrived, and that's been a fun key, or an important key to the first month of Dodger baseball. They have mostly thrived through all of these injuries with a mind-blowing 12 pitchers on the injured list as of right now, as of the moment that I am speaking and recording this, and then later editing it and later uploading it on YouTube or on podcasts and all that. 12 dudes injured. And somehow they finished the month of April 7 or 8 games over 500, because I'm technically recording this during the infamous B game in Arizona. But this is thanks in part, this success this team has had is thanks in part to guys like Gavin Stone kind of stepping up here in April, or there in April last month, all the way back last month in April. They weren't always pretty outings, but he kind of pieced some things together. I could sound stupid when I say Landon Knack stepping up in the rotation as well, because at the moment, I don't know how Landon Knack did in his start against the Diamondbacks in the B game on Tuesday. But even so, his first 2 starts were pretty nice. He gave the team some innings. He gave them a body that filled in the rotation while guys like Stone were out, like Miller were out, like Clayton Kershaw remained out, like Walker Buehler, all of these type of dudes being out, being on the sideline. So with particularly those 2 dudes, like so little was expected of them, especially this early in the season. They're massive keys to me for the success of this team through the first month plus of the season, plus the big first month pluses. You guys get the point. Of for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, for Tyler Glasnow, and hey, I want to mix in Evan Phillips there too. Has been an absolute rock in the bullpen for this team, and I would be remiss to not shout out Ryan Yarbrough for picking up some big innings for this team, huge innings for this team over the first month plus. So all of that pieces together with an offense that we knew was going to be very, very good. Maybe got a little bit better with Andy Pages. Time will tell. I like Andy Pages a lot, but we're talking about pitching, we're talking about injuries. But all that pieces together to a very good survival and thrival of the Dodgers over the first month of the season. I did say for a good chunk of the offseason, the first month or 2, maybe even 3 of 2024 would be all about buying time, kicking the can down the road till we got some of those guys back. And I kind of keep looking over here because I have the injured list written down on my board. I have multiple versions of the paper. Look at that paper as the camera now has to adjust if you guys are watching this. But you just had to buy time, kick the can down the road while some of these guys got healthy and were able to come back and help the club. These Dodgers have done way better than just buying time. But that's all I got to say on this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. It's completely free, and I would do it for you if you were asking me. I'm just saying that. I do want to thank our Patreon supporters who have been phenomenal so far since I launched that. They've done great. They're supporters, and they've done great at helping support the channel. If you're looking for a different way to support me, support the channel, and independent Dodgers coverage here on YouTube, here in your podcast ear holes, for much less than the price of a michelada at a game at Dodger Stadium or any ballpark, really. Check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/realfrg. The link is in the description. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. I am Real FRG on the Twitter, on the X, I guess is what you want to call it these days, on the Instagram. Follow me there if you are so inclined, and I will see you on the other side.